Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brightside studio. We are very excited today. I have two military vets, and as you know, we have. It is a great honor to have them here. And I have with me today Colonel Donna Fore, and she is with the U.S. Air Force. And I have Alan Maxwell, who's just released a fabulous book that we can't wait to read. So I'm going to start with Colonel Donna Fore. Donna, would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Yes, hello everybody. It's great to be with you today. Most of you that are seeing this, if you're with the Brightside, with our club, the Women's Business Empowerment Club, you've heard me speak before, but for those that are new to the sessions, my name is Donna Fore. I'm a retired Air Force colonel. I spent 30 years in the U.S. Air Force. I had a mixed career of active duty and reserve time, so I did a little bit of both and really enjoyed my career. I ended up at the Pentagon. I had 9 overseas deployments. I was in 2 campaigns overseas that were wartime. One was Desert Storm, the other one was the Balkan Wars. I was involved in preparing target folders and doing intelligence support for those operations. I'm an intelligence officer by trade, so that was my career. I ended up at the Pentagon. I was in the building on the day of the attack, survived that, but some of my close colleagues did not, so that's a pretty heavy day for me. But it was inspiring as well as sad, because on the day after the attack, as you know, America went to war, and the country was very behind the military and the political leadership, and we came together as a country, and we really rallied together. So it was a great time to see the country pulling together and everyone united towards taking care of what had happened. So that was the goodness of 9/11, as we came together as a country to fight the terrorist. But when I retired from the Air Force, I decided to become a defense contractor, which a lot of people do that leave the military. It's kind of an easy place to step into. I enjoyed it. It was very interesting work, but I began to get restless because I realized I had never done anything in my life but be in the military or work for the military as a civilian. So New York Life had found my resume online, gave me an interview, and after several interviews, they shared something with me that made me want to start my own business and start with them. So that story is this. On 9/11, when those 2 buildings came down New York City, New York Life had a large number of people that own policies that passed away in that attack. Normally, when something happens to you and you have life insurance, your loved ones have to produce a death certificate in order for your family to receive the payment from the life insurance company. New York Life realized that there was no way for families to get death certificates easily from that sort of a horrific terrorist event. So when the families called in, they didn't ask for any documentation or any proof of anything that happened to their loved ones. They just paid their checks. And I figured it would have taken weeks, if not months, to get it done, but they actually did it in less than 2 weeks. And I was pretty impressed by that. So that's why I took the job. So now I'm a business owner. I do sell life insurance, long-term care, and financial products for New York Life. I'm really proud to work for them, and have been honored to be one of their employees. So I enjoy my job. I enjoy helping people, particularly to solve some of their business and personal solutions for them and their families. So it's great to be here. I'm looking forward to hearing more about Alan Maxwell and his journey and his book and how he came to write this book with this wonderful title. So Alan, go ahead.
Thanks, Donna. And again, as we missed earlier, but thank you for your service as well. We couldn't do the things that we do
Thank you.
if it wasn't for people like you and I. I read something the other day that the checks that we're willing to cash, most people don't understand that haven't been in the military, and we were willing to, unquestionably willing to give our life for our country. So that's a huge deal. Sorry about that. That's a huge deal. And so I'm honored. Thank you very much for everything that you've done. It's interesting that I too was at the Pentagon the day after the attack. I was there the day before, and I was just down the street in Pax
Oh,
River,
wow.
uh, at Pax River. Some of my
Hmm.
friends in that wing. I was managing the GPS program, were hurt, injured. We didn't
Oh,
lose it,
wow.
but it was a day to remember for sure. It always rang heavily in my heart that day, and so. Certainly can understand and identify with you. My Navy career was quite exciting. Um, Started out as enlisted, got commissioned as an officer about halfway through, which I really enjoyed it. My very first job as an officer was a major department head over at Guantanamo Bay. I was the base ordnance officer. And so that is when the challenge began. And it was just, I don't think it led up the entire remainder of my career. So I thoroughly enjoyed all 22 years. And as mentioned before, I would have stuck around for 30, but I decided that, it was time to give some time back to the family, and my girls were getting a little bit older. But I walked out into the defense contracting world. I left the Navy one day, walked into the defense contracting world the very next day without taking any leave. And you're absolutely right. I did it because it was a language that I knew. It was an area that I understood, and it was just simply taking the uniform off. I laugh and joke. I was a warrant officer in the Navy, but in order to get promoted to the captain equivalency or colonel equivalent, I had to go into the civil service. So I quickly got my GS-15 and started managing major programs for the government. And at that point, I spent a tremendous amount of time at the Pentagon, back and forth with resource sponsors and, keeping program dollars all programmed properly. Um, Interesting enough, you said something that kind of resonated with me, and that was when I was in the government and when I was a defense contractor prior to, the government made me realize that I could support the government a lot more as a contractor, more so than as a government employee. So I left the federal government and started my
Hmm.
Max, as a company I have now. Um, and I never looked back. We're nearing 100 employees, um, spanning the United States, growing rapidly.
Wow.
We'll probably be pretty close to 150, 200 employees here by the end of the year. We're growing. We have a great reputation. We're a good company. Has nothing to do with me. Has everything to do with the quality of the people that we hire. And interesting enough, I would say probably about 85% of my employees are all veterans or military people. And that was just by
Wow.
happenstance. It wasn't like I specifically recruited
Hmm.
for military, but when you put a military person beside a non-military person, it's really hard not to pick the military person because of just what they bring to the table. Their awareness, their ability to multitask, the ability to change on the fly, to take on new challenges. They're so mission oriented, then it's hard to beat that. So through all of that, the inspiration, through some of the challenges I've had since the military and running a company, uh, I did learn that the system is unforgiving. And so that's the rationale behind the book. So many people, I was just having conversations all morning about different things that we get into in life. And I think some people doesn't realize that everything that we do has some sort of a system in place. And I think the sooner you recognize whatever that system is, the better off you can navigate through it. And of course, there are some people that never realize that there's a system, and therefore they can't navigate anything. So that's just the beginning, and I'm sure there'll be more for me to share. So back over to you, Elizabeth.
Okay. So, wow, that sounds like a wonderful career, and it sounds like a wonderful book. I know it's on its way, so thank you, and you're offering a prize to our group, so thank you for that. So let's dive a little bit more into the book. I saw from your resume that you help a lot of nonprofit organizations with their financial needs. And since our group is a group of vets in business and small business as well as corporate executives, but we'd like to talk to our audience about what they could learn from the book and what could they, I know the vets would really love to get inspired because it's hard to start your own business and get it off the ground. So you've done it successfully.
Amen
So
to
we'd
that.
love to hear what we can draw from your book.
So absolutely. So again, I'll tap on Donna's shoulder again. She said something again that resonated really well, and that's giving back. I dedicate my life to giving back. I feel so blessed and honored that I'm where I'm at in life, that God chose this life for me. And so I think the best thing I can do by appreciating that is to give back to the less fortunate, or, that fortunate group that just needs a little bit of mentoring. So I am the CFO for two nonprofits. I'm a motorcycle rider. And the motorcycle is part of the American Legion Riders. We all know what the American Legion is about. It's all about family and giving back to the military members. I proudly serve in that position as the chaplain and as the treasurer and the CFO. And then I'm also the CFO for an organization called the Eagles Organization, which we are a group of business leaders, senior government officials. We're spread all over the United States. What our goal is to help young individuals that's in college transitioning out of college. We also mentor young men and women that's in the foster care system, that at the end of their stint at 18, the foster care system basically just kicks them out and just leave them to their own devices to resolve or solve world problems or life problems. Well, they're certainly ill-equipped because they didn't have the parenting, they didn't have the stability. So they need to have someone to sit down that they could talk to guide them and show them. And I really, really enjoy doing that. I think one of my callings is being just a natural mentor and just to care for others and to try to show them that if I could come from the harsh streets of Philly with all the right tools and necessities in place to put me in a penal system, to avoid that, I'd like to show others how and to turn that around and to guide you down the road of success. I think that's what my book tries to impart with. There's quite a few nuggets in my book. I would encourage anyone that's reading my book to read it carefully.
No, we're going to read it.
Yeah. There's things that I say in there, and I think it'll give everybody an aha moment. And the book is not for any one particular group. It's for everyone, young and old, business or not business. It's designed so you can understand, again, life isn't fair, and no one said it would be. That doesn't mean life isn't good. That just means that things don't always go your way. And that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. That just means it didn't go your way. And you just need to understand that. So that's what I talk about in the book.
That's excellent. And I think this group, we really need a book like that. We need to, we've all been saying, we did 51 events at the club, and where is this going? Where are we going? And I think it's leading to Alan, because you're the case study of success. And we need to see some of that in the group. So thank you for joining us. So I will end this interview with each of you giving 5 tips for COVID. And you could do any good nuggets. What can a business owner, all sizes actually, what would you say to them at this time when doors are being shut and we're in quarantine and we're not operating in full capacity? So what can you give us and share from your book or from your life? And then I'll have Donna share her tips, and then we'll close.
So my tip is do your research on COVID, okay? And just don't listen to anything everybody says. Use the proper safety measures that you would do with any type of infectious environment. As far as the business is concerned, we've been one of the fortunate companies that we've actually grown tremendously during this environment. I believe what you have to do, tip 1, stay focused. Tip number 2, again, sometimes you don't believe the hype, but you have to ask questions. Tip 3, certainly pay attention to what's around you. Certainly understand what's out there. And again, take care of yourself as the number 1 priority. And lastly, I would say, don't let COVID get you down. Because if there's a will, there's a way. And you have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to be flexible, and you have to be willing to adapt to a changing environment. I think that's critical. those would be my strongest tips.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I think that is something. And also, I think believe in yourself and your business, because you are your business, really. And you have to
Yes.
believe that you're going to get through this
Right.
COVID, even if it means adapting to new technologies like Zoom and online,
That's
and
right.
not having things the way you are used to having, but you can still make it and still be successful out of it. So that's a good one. I like those nuggets. Donna, your 5 tips for COVID. Donna?
I would agree with what Alan has said. You know, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I would agree with Alan. You know, you have to just hang in there and get educated. A lot of what you hear from different sources can get confusing. So a lot of times I go out to multiple sources just to get some kind of sense of what's real and what's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I'd say be courageous. I mean, we're going to have to get through this thing, and it's not for the faint of heart. You just have to hang in there, be persistent. I've been calling my clients just to check on them, make sure they're okay. It's good for me to hear from them as well as them hearing from me. It's like we're all kind of struggling together on something, and being able to talk and say, hey, what have you been doing that's working? And, you know, how are you getting through this thing? And I learned from my clients. They'll tell me, well, I'm doing more exercise, or I'm, you know, doing this or that. And I'll go, hey, well, that's a really great idea, you know. So reach out to your clients. Also, another thing you have to do is you have to get pretty creative right now, because, you know, you don't have your normal outlets to do things. Like I had an office space I could use at my office up in Roanoke that got closed to me. It hasn't opened since COVID. So I have to work from home now, or, you know, I used to love to hang out in coffee shops for hours and get free Wi-Fi. Well, that's kind of been a struggle. So you have to get creative. You have to be persistent. Like I said, be courageous, reach out to other people, get some mentors. You know, you were talking about what a great mentor you are, Alan. You know, some people are afraid to reach out to someone else to admit they don't know something. This is a great time to say, hey, I don't know everything. I'm a little scared. You know, what works for you? And let's share and help each other out. It's a great time to find other business owners and say, what's working for you? And I'll tell you what's working for me, and maybe we can collaborate. It's a great time to do that kind of level of work. So I'd say collaborate, network, be courageous, be persistent, seek multiple sources of information about the disease, because it gets very confusing. And then just call on your clients, let them know you care about them, and you'll be surprised at how much feedback you'll get from them. It'll be helpful, whether or not they need anything else from you or not. It's just great to have that dialogue with them and know that they're okay and they're worried about you too. That's what I learned. So anyway, that's my tips.
And those are great tips. That is absolutely great tips. You just have to keep going. And so if you like this interview, everybody, please join us on November the 2nd with Donna Fore, Colonel Donna Fore, and with Alan Maxwell. It's going to be a great time to look at your financial preparations, and a great time to get some great motivators to be there. So come get empowered, join our club on Monday, November the 2nd at 8 p.m. And I will make sure that I have both the websites. So if you want to get a copy of the book, or if you want to contact Donna Fore, that we have that information available. And do let us know what your contact information is, so that we could know that. So we'll put that on the website, and do join us on November the 2nd at 8 p.m. And thank you both. This has been a wonderful interview. And I see Elton has just arrived from helping out the community.
Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry I'm late. It's
yeah.
A little dusty and warm from where, but we came in before the final sign up. And, you know, I want to thank you all for being on the call. And we're working to make sure that everybody gets what they need, and we all grow into prosperity in a wonderful way. And so please forgive my tardiness. Don't blame it on my intent, but collectively we're working to make, you know, reality of things.
Yeah.
So I, you know, I'm gonna look at the tape, and, you know, and I'm gonna just evaluate it to see what we can do to add value.
I think Elton deserves it because this heavy lifting and this physical work is something I can't do.
You know, the people out there who are struggling and that really have needs.
Yeah.
So, you know, we think about that.
And providing food to the whole county.
Right,
I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Well, God bless you for having a servant's heart.
A very good
Yeah. Delivery.
Yes.
So you're
Bless you,
forgiven.
Elton.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah. Well, no problem. It's not
How
what you
many
say.
boxes did y'all do today?
Oh man, they must have did 3,000 boxes
We
today.
did 3,000 boxes
3,000 boxes today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not what you say, it's what you do. You know, or it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
All right. So on that note, Alan, would you tell us how we can get the book and what's your website? And then Donna, you can tell us how we can get insurance and what's your website. So Alan?
Absolutely. Yeah, my book is on Amazon.com, also on Barnes & Noble, and also you can go to my website, AlanMaxwellAuthor.com, and that'll give you different ways to get in touch with my book and in touch with me. Thank you.
Very good, Alan. Thank you.
Can't wait to read the book.
Great meeting you. Looking forward to reading it too.
Donna, you want to tell us your website and all the good information on how to contact you?
Yes, my website is www.donnal4.com. I'm sorry, www.donnal4.com. My phone number is 434-665-1434. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If people want to message me or send me an invite to connect. And Alan, I need to connect with you, so we'll make that happen. Okay. But I just want to let everybody know, right now, between now and the end of the year, we're hoping that we can reach out to more business owners and help them because, you know, this is the last quarter of 2020. So we've all been through 3 quarters of very spotty kind of activity. And it's been very up and down. So, you know, we really need to encourage each other. Yeah, we need to. Because a lot of people did okay in January and February, then March hit. And so we've had 2 quarters of pretty abysmal growth. So all of us could use some help. I know Alan's company is doing well, which God bless him. That's awesome. So we need to encourage each other and reach out to each other.
Gonna give COVID the right hook.
Yeah, and I hope that we all get.
Come on. Let's do it all together. COVID gets the right hook. Knock it out.
On that note, I'm going to end this recording, and we can't wait to read the book and can't wait to hear Alan on November the 2nd.
Okay.